There's nothing worse than when you find out after the fact that you could have prepared better for something. And we're not talking about showing up to a picnic and not checking the forecast and then learning, oh man, it's raining and I probably shouldn't have had a picnic today. No, we can adjust from that. We're talking about bigger things, like when you decide to retire and finding out that there were things you could have been doing to make sure that you were prepared. Mistakes people will make when preparing for their retirement. And so we are doing for Financial Friday today, chatting with Bill Levitt of Bridgelight Financial Advisors, talking about maybe avoiding some of those mistakes. And so I'm so glad to have you back on the show as always, Bill. What would you say are some of the most common mistakes people will make when it comes to preparing for retirement properly?
Well, good morning, Melissa. Thanks for having me on. There's a number of things that we see that are crucial and important for one to be thinking about when they're preparing for retirement. And so one of the things that we want to focus on, or if someone wants to focus on, is looking at what their expenses are. And nobody loves doing a budget, and many people don't do budgets. But it is important to understand that your expenses are likely going to change in retirement, and you should understand what that's going to mean, because you have to have the right income sources to satisfy that long-term budget. And so that is one of the things I'd like to see that, we recommend that one does.
So you want us to start budgeting like right now? Because I have to say, this is why you and I were like birds of a feather. We flock together. My husband and I have been budgeting since we graduated college and decided to get married. We love doing budget sessions every month. And I tell you, Bill, if for some reason it just brings such a peace of mind if we think, oh, you know what, maybe we will go away for Chase's February break because we budget. Once you get into the habit of it, it actually, we're in our 30s. We've been doing this now for 5-6 years, and it's awesome. I don't know. It brings a lot of peace of mind, I think.
It does, and it's a practice that I think everybody should be doing. And if you're doing it early on, you're definitely getting a handle on it. It allows you to make sure that you're saving for the long term, and you're paying yourself first. I'm a big believer of paying yourself first before you pay anybody else.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I love the way that you think. Now, what about understanding tax implications? Because here's where I will confess, this is where I need a financial advisor like you, because I don't, I couldn't confess that I know tax implications. I wouldn't know that or how to project that.
Well, this is an important part of things that people need to be thinking about when they're preparing for retirement, and especially when they are getting closer to it, is understanding the real impact of taxes, not just on their income, but the taxes that they're going to experience on their retirement savings. And you and I have talked about this in previous discussions. But the changes in tax laws on our retirement accounts, like IRAs and 401ks, and those have changed significantly since the Secure Act. So people need to understand, what is the taxes going to look like? And we all know that in a year and a half, tax rates are going up. So we're heading in that direction. And I think it's a very important thing that most people don't pay attention to understand the real tax impacts, because you're going to live on a fixed income at some point. And you have to know how much of that you're going to be giving away, so then you have a net income after taxes to cover those expenses that you put together in your budget.
Mm-hmm. Here's another big one, Bill Levitt of Bridgelight Financial Advisors, ignoring health care and especially long-term care costs. That's a big one.
It really is, and there's a lot of things that we have risks in life, especially when you're in the what we consider to be the working years. Mm-hmm. But when you get in retirement, the biggest threat to one's retirement savings is the impact of some kind of long-term care or health care. And this is an area that we recommend that everybody takes a look at, understands the impact and how they're going to manage it, because as you know, healthcare is rising. The state of Connecticut has some of the highest long-term care costs in the country. And just generally, healthcare overall keeps rapidly increasing in terms of cost.
Well, and we don't think about, Bill, what we're living in today, which is that we are, like if I take myself, for example, I'm in my mid-30s, right? So I'm not thinking about when I go into a nursing home at some point, or, what if something were to happen or you develop something or something. Like, we're not living in it today, so it doesn't seem top of mind, but you have to project that. You're talking about, okay, retirement, you're an older person and things happen and the world around you happens and there are things you can't predict. So you got to think about sometimes the stuff that hasn't even, really occurred yet in your life.
Very much true. And this is something that, we recommend to begin to look at when you're getting into your late 50s and early 60s and getting closer to that phase of retirement.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Another one, too, is neglecting to plan for Social Security. Talk about Bill Levitt being prepared for Social Security. That's another thing that people don't think about.
Well, they just assume it's going to be there,
right,
and they're just going to get it. And, the thing about Social Security is that it makes up about 30%, sometimes more, of one's retirement income, and that's a big piece. So you have to understand how it works, when to claim it. There's always difference of opinions about it, but everybody's situation is different. We're always very much about strategy on how to take your benefits and when to take them. You should definitely be looking at, the Social Security benefit statement every single year. Is it accurate?
Yeah, there's a lot to certainly look at. And when you talk about things like Social Security, tax implications, preparing for expenses, health care, all of that, that's why you'd want a financial advisor, somebody like Bill Levitt and his team at Bridgelight Financial Advisors. And, of course, you can go online to learn more if you go to bridgelightadvisors.com. And, Bill Levitt, thank you so much. We always appreciate you for a Financial Friday.